What do being crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas back with another episode of Coffee and Comments. Today we're going to review the movie, The Blackening. Black people, is it worth the hype? Is it worth the watch? Let's talk about it, but first, let's take a sip. Welcome back, Being Crew. Again, we are reviewing the movie The Blackening. Just came out in theaters. Went to go see it with all my black friends, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It definitely was a little bit more black centric, and I would say a little cheesy as well as far as like overall movie plot. But it is an enjoyable movie, especially with the culture. So if you guys haven't seen the trailer for The Blackening, it's a movie about a group of black people that go to rent this cabin in the woods for this Juneteenth celebration. Group of black friends, and it's a interesting plot because it's a scary movie, so it's a horror movie, thriller, if you want to call it that, and it just plays into the typical tropes of like, oh, this door is locked. There's something behind the door. There's these killers that have the mask on. They get trapped in this room. They have to play this black game, and there's like the elements of the movie are very simple, scary movie plot tactics, but for me, one of the things I just loved about this movie was, the black jokes, right? The jokes about spades. I don't know how to play spades, unfortunately. I'm a black dude, don't know how to play spades. I'm shunned in the black community. I can play dominoes though, and it will destroy any single person that wants to play me in dominoes. Bet your bottom dollar that. It's a very quick film though. Like the runtime is only an hour and 30 minutes, and so it starts off with them all getting together. You see like different jump scares that happen, people walking in the woods. There's a couple different times where you're like, okay, what would I do as a black person in a situation? Like there was one time where like there's something behind like this open door. Like you're like, what is out there? And I'm like, as a black person, I'm like, nah, I'm shutting that door. And they shut that door, right? And I'm like, okay, there we go. Now here's a movie that is actually what black people will do. But then it starts to change to like, okay, it's not, black people wouldn't be doing some of these activities. Like we would have been left after some of the stuff that went down. And so it's interesting, like the different things that happen within the movie. But as far as like overall like movie goes, it's an enjoyable film, especially for black. Like there's a lot of good black jokes, a lot of good black, just how can I put it? A lot of things that as a black person you relate to if you go watch. Now if you're not black and you're watching this review and you're like, man, should I go watch this movie? You can. Like you still will enjoy it if you like horror movies. If you like cheesy horror movies too, like this is for you, but it's definitely a more enjoyable movie if you understand the culture, like of like what they're talking about, the jokes that they're making. They play a game where they're answering questions about black different TV shows, and one of the fun things that they talked about was like how many black characters are on the show Friends, and everybody tries to deny the fact that they've seen the show Friends, but they know characters from the show Friends, because people talk about like Friends like it's a terrible show. It's not that great of a show. But every single black person seen it, where they're like, oh, it's not, I haven't seen that show, but I know this person was in that show one time. He's like, so have y'all all seen this show? It's different. It's just different things that, as a culture, we understand and get the gist of and get the joke from. So from that perspective, I enjoyed the movie. From like a actual movie perspective, was it that great of a movie? No. Like it's a very simple movie. The plot's simple. It's very cheesy, very corny. You see who the killer is from the very beginning. Like, you already know. You're like, okay, it's this person. It's pretty easy to guess. Not hard. And then there's little hijinks that happen where you're like, that shouldn't be happening, but it does. And overall, it's a decent movie. If I wasn't black, that's hilarious. But if I wasn't black, I'd give this movie like a 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10. Because I'm black, though, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because I thought it was pretty funny. Like, I laughed a lot throughout this entire movie. But that's my thoughts. Again, quick review. Happy Juneteenth. If you're watching this on Juneteenth, it's going to come out on Juneteenth. If you're not, still happy Juneteenth regardless. Appreciate you guys for watching. Let your thoughts be known in the comments. And we're out.